If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
Hello and welcome to Happy Jack's RPG Network. My name is Jason. We are playing City of Towers in the Dungeon World rule set, and we are on episode 5 of our game. The let's see. Oh, you're right. If you want to catch up on past episodes, you're going to go to happyjacks.org/City of Towers. To find all of the shows ever that have been on Happy Jacks Network, you could go to happyjacks.org/shows. And let's just jump into what we're doing. My name's Jason. I'm the GM for this. The story so far we'll get to in a moment, but let's talk to our players. Let's start with Pooja. Also, Pooja, you're a little bit off to the right of your camera.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Okay. Tell us who you are, or we'll go...
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Slide.
Perfect. That was very graceful.
Hi, I am Pooja. I'm playing Zay, a changeling arcane duelist.
Excellent.
I had to think about it for a second.
Rob.
I'm Rob. Oh, we covered that. I'm playing Ventuz. Hi, sweetie. I'm playing Ventuz, who's a sorcerer of the old ones.
Excellent. Eli?
I am not Rob. I'm Eli. I'm playing Alaebas, the Paladin. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
And Claire.
I'm Claire. I'm playing Nyx, the changeling thief.
All right. So to get you briefly caught up, I mean, there's 4 other episodes. I'm not going to catch up the whole thing. However, the heroes went into the Shimmering Woods to find out what was going on with the train route going by and see if they could figure out a way to jump the train and steal the hot rock inside the boiler so that one house could make another house look bad and then make them look even worse when they recover and fix their mistake. All so that the folks on Welldown, a remote island which is now peopled partially by sapient undead folk, could restart their economy, which has been cut off from the rest of the world, and they would like to rejoin and participate. And they are very wealthy and are having trouble participating. So you all went into the forest. You were researching a spot where you could possibly stop the train and be able to steal a piece of it. The forest had some other ideas for you. You were attacked by phasing mantids, and they did some work on you, but you took them apart pretty effectively. You got to meet the mushroom people. They had a telepathic conversation with most of you, and sent you on your way to save them from the rampaging mantids. You had to fight a couple more on your way to that original way station that you wanted to find, that maintenance station. And in the process, discovered a few things about how the mantids were being driven wild a little bit, or possibly or probably, by the presence of the trains coming through here, which have only been coming through here in the last year or so. It used to be a wagon road. It was converted to a train track. The trains are operated by a bunch of people, and they harness an elemental to work with them. And through whatever sort of pacts and promises elementals are happy with, the lightning elemental that runs the trains going back and forth here is quite possessive of this space and seems to be having an overall effect on the surrounding area. So we had just made it to the maintenance station. There was not a lot there. There was a couple, I think that we said there were a few bunks, or maybe 2 bunks, and it was deserted, but not as run down as you would think, where if they had built this a year ago and then not used it for a year, this is a wet forest, right? It's like a rainy coastal forest, and this wooden shack should be, tilted and moldy and falling over. And it looks like people haven't been here for a while, but it is not at all deteriorated. So we return to the scene with you at this deserted maintenance. We use shed loosely. It's a pretty good sized building. Maybe 600 square feet inside. Pretty decent studio apartment size. There's no bathroom or kitchen or anything. It's just a big square room, but it's that's where we are. What do you want to do?
And well, we had figured out that there's some sort of time dilation, right, going through, because the trains are always on time, and not in like the Mussolini sense, but like in the time is altered so that they are meant to arrive whenever they are supposed to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
There's always, and the maintenance shed is like older than it's supposed to be.
Right, because
Yeah,
the line's only like a year. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to. It's just because if the elemental is like bending time around it, that would explain ancient maintenance shed, despite it being erected a year ago.
Well, it wasn't ancient. It's like super good looking, despite the fact that it should be more broken down, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought
you
it was
found
the opposite.
You found indications that it has been here longer than its condition would appear, right? Like it looks not old, but I forget exactly what the evidence was, but there was evidence that it has been here for quite some time, but it is not old and run down. Right?
Sorry.
It's been there for longer than the line.
Yes.
Or the time is passing differently for
Right.
it.
And it's some timey-wimey bullshit, but that's that's what we're talking about.
Cool.
So
Either way, I mean, this elemental is literally like bending time and eliminating all the natural local spirits.
Yes, because we saw it in a vision. We saw it coming down and basically trying to destroy everything within like a certain radius from the train track, because it was perceived to own or have domain over that stretch, right?
Yeah, it's the ruler of basically in its mind, it is the ruler of everywhere it goes right now.
See, originally I was like, I don't think it's right that they're using elementals, but it seems like they entered into a contract with this elemental, and this elemental seems pretty happy based on what Zay talked to it about.
It's content at the moment.
Content. I think this elemental's a jerk, and I'm completely willing to remove it from what it thinks its domain is.
Yeah, it seems to me like that would be, I mean, there's like this may have a long-term environmental impact, like climate change, and then we're literally using a power source that's killing nature as it goes through on purpose.
Potato, potato.
And that's where I really think that maybe we shouldn't give it to, like, if we are able to free it, we should just destroy it. Because if it's causing this much pandemonium and destruction to this forest and the things that inhabit it, like, it's just going to come back and do the same thing if we just give it to them.
Are all lightning rails doing the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's relatively common knowledge that this is how House Orion works, is they have partnered with lightning elementals, and this is like the thing that their house is good at, is creating
but that doesn't mean
that, you know, like moving things around, and that's kind of the tools they use to do that.
But that doesn't mean that every train is like this.
Well, no, because they're probably different elementals, but it is called the lightning rail, and it is functionally like this, but that doesn't, the situation may not be like that. It may be, but just for the sake of, you know, background and what everyone would know, you know, you could certainly, you know, empty the train and push it off the cliff and do whatever, and eventually, regardless of the bounty hunters coming after you and everything, House Orion will build another train, summon another elemental, create another deal, and be back on track before you know it. So that I just want to throw that out there, that they have a lot of resources, and coming back from a busted up train is an expensive but not difficult process for them to execute.
I wonder if there's a way to harness the spirits of the forest and create either quicksand or something like that basically covers the track and or sucks the track deep into the earth so that it no longer becomes passable.
That is something an earth elemental could do, depending on the power of the elemental in, you know, increasingly large spaces. Now, an elemental that could sink the entire track from here to there is a god that you would like. That's just not a comprehensible concept for you guys, but an elemental that could sink several hundred meters worth of the track is conceivable and is something you all might be able to strike a deal with.
Several hundred meters at a time?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, taking out 100 meters of track is pretty effectively making the whole track unusable, because most people don't want to skip the middle part.
What?
So I speaking for me, I think this has gone from an opportunity to right some economic wrongs and make friends or make something a little more viable for our friends on the island, to stopping a malignant being from hurting others.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, and possibly I would say so. Here's the thing, guys, is that they all work this way. So any train that goes through anything that isn't a city is hurting the land around it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's not necessarily the case. This is an elemental that obviously has a personality, and that personality is different from other elementals that I have encountered in the past.
Mm.
It's possible that other lightning elementals don't act this way. They may also bend time, and that's its own kind of, wow, really, you've got to be kidding me situation. But it doesn't mean that they're killing things as they go along.
I was he killing them, or was he just
It is,
corrupting them?
This one is killing the other elementals in the area, or other spirits.
well, it's
beings.
it's driving the mantids mad. That's the main thing that's happening there. Is
Is it intent? Do we know if it's an intentional thing or just a side effect of there being a lightning rail in there? I guess it doesn't effectively matter whether it's intentional or not.
When we saw it come through, and when we were with the big tree elemental,
Mm-hmm.
it was actively trying to destroy the spirits of the forest around it so that it could maintain dominion.
I see.
Also, it literally went back into Ventuz's life to give him a giant scar on his eyeball.
I've had this scar the whole time.
Exactly.
The whole time.
You have now had it the whole time thanks to the lightning elemental.
Are we
Keep
saying
up.
the same thing?
Well, I'm saying the correct thing. If you're saying the same thing as me, then yes.
That I've had it the whole time. Yes.
You have had it the whole time now because of the lightning elemental that you encountered 10 minutes ago.
The lightning elemental did something to your mind to make you think that you had it the entire time. When in actuality, you haven't had it the entire time.
Or he's had it the entire time because the lightning elemental controls time.
I don't like that. I don't like any of those answers, frankly. I don't like people messing with time. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Good thing it's not people then.
Well,
We
fair.
so I want to say it was getting on to midday by the time, or let's say like 2:00 in the afternoon ish, getting to the maintenance shed. Because you had come across the water in the morning, scaled the cliff, gone into the woods, wandered around for a few hours, found the mushroom folk, spent some time with them. Time passed a little bit weirdly, and you came out around noontime, which was not the right amount of time. Like, that was too long, because your friends Stiv and Guar were concerned. Stiv had been casting message to try and get in touch with you, and there were a couple hours of message spells waiting for you when you came out. So I just want to point out, it's about 2 p.m. now. You've got a trail of mantid bodies behind you, a collapsed nature, spirit of the woods.
Or is hardly like a trail.
Several mantid bodies. And the and that's all. The afternoon is stretching on.
Though that is another, you bring up a good point. So the lightning elemental is not the only being that we've encountered in the past several hours that manipulates time.
I think there's...
Unless we were all just super high on mushroom spores when we were in the caves.
I mean, it's possible. Anything is
I
possible.
think the answer is yes.
But I think there's one thing about your inherent existence and time eddies moving differently around you versus going in and purposely manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think let's find an earth elemental or maybe rally some of the forest elementals and see if they can take stuff out.
And just to touch on this again, I'm pretty sure we did kind of lore checks about phase mantids and struck out. Isn't that what happened last time?
What's that?
When we did lore checks on phase mantids last time, the rolls pretty much struck out. Is that because I don't think we had anyone suddenly become an expert on phase mantids.
No, we did not.
Because I think Nyx had heard about them as bedtime stories, possibly, or Zay.
I had, yeah.
I think we both
Maybe
had,
both of us.
we both had heard the
There's some
weird
changeling
tales.
lore about it. Okay.
But it's not like we know anything specific now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Alaebas said something in Encyclopedia Elftanica, but it was just like a weird little blurb about him.
I have to readjust my microphone. I'll be muted for a second. Carry on.
So what do you want to do?
I mean, so basically the undead and not undead people would like us to steal the lightning elemental so that they can then return it to the house and look good.
I thought they wanted us to steal a block that was a part of the train.
Which is
they want the
elemental.
They want the alchemical hot rock that runs the boiler. That would make the train pretty unusable to take that, and is a powerful alchemical object that is not particularly valuable by itself, but the House Orion uses them to run their trains. It'd be very embarrassing to have a train breakdown. And then if the House Thrashk had recovered that and said, hey, we found your lost stone and recovered it for you, and here you go, we have saved you, that would make them look bad. House Thrashk would be elevated and would be in a position to do more lucrative deals with the folks from Karazosh on the island of Welldown.
So we could both get the alchemical stone and evict the lightning elemental, and those goals are not mutually exclusive.
They are not. And I was just thinking that that's exactly what we should do. Banish the elemental back to its plane and get the stone. Because I think the elemental is going to be the biggest obstacle to getting the stone in the first place.
True. Though it's an interesting idea that, I wasn't super successful, but I may have planted the seed when I was talking to the elemental before, that if it felt like House Orion broke their contract.
Then it would just bug. Well, here's the thing. The contract that House Orion has with the elemental might be keeping it from being worse than it is. So if we make it think that its contract is null and void, it might just decide to start killing people or things. And we don't want that.
No, that would be bad.
So I think that banishing it to its home plane is probably the kindest way we could nullify the contract.
Alaebas?
Yeah.
Can I have you make a wisdom check, please? And you're going to roll with advantage.
Oh, no. That is an 11.
Hey, okay. So, and that's advantage is just the two highest dice, right? That's not all three dice.
I got a 6 and a 4.
Okay. Heck yeah. So your, familiarity with being in the woods, you're all, standing here having a chat in this, shed, it's a big shed. You can hear something moving around in the woods that doesn't sound immediately ominous. And after the nature spirit had collapsed, it was really quiet for a long time. And then over the last, half hour or so, the birds have started up and you've been hearing the normal forest sounds. But as everyone's having this conversation right now, just your ear kind of pricks up and you can hear something moving around outside the shed. If you want, you could gently close the door to the shed. You could go outside and look. There are some windows if you wanted to go check it out, or if you wanted to, I'll let you react to that situation however you like. Also, there are some questions that you're welcome to ask in the basic moves that a clever GM would have opened ahead of time.
What?
But you've got
which
me
one,
instead.
Discern Reality?
So, yeah, discern realities. Thank you.
How many questions do I get?
Well, you got the 10+ result, so
that would be 3 questions. So my first one would be, what should I be on the lookout for, which you probably already answered.
well, no, I wasn't very specific with you, and now I can be more specific. There is at least one mantid. Creeping around implies it's hiding from you, but it's like moving around outside the maintenance shed. Right? It's not like stalking the maintenance shed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Well, in the maintenance shed, it does seem like it's sturdy enough that if you were to just close the door quietly and get everyone to be quiet, that like this shed is certainly useful enough to hide you from the mantids if that's what you wanted to do.
Okay. Then my final question is, what is about to happen?
The mantid is hunting, and so it is going to catch something. It hasn't latched onto a scent yet, but it is hunting for something. Just like, I'm hungry.
Okay.
It's time to find something to eat.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Alaebas kind of wave towards Ventuz, and then kind of point out the window. There's a mantid outside. I think it's stalking something, but not us. And then he starts moving over to the door to close it, and then trying to find where it is, looking out through the window.
When Nyx hears that, they as soon as they see Alaebas moving towards the door, they try to look out the window, like sneaking from the side. You know how? Yeah.
With the indication of where to look and that something's happening out there, you can see the mantid maybe 20 yards away from the building. And actually, instinct might even say, like, how did it not hear us? Like, we've been talking at normal volume in this building, and that thing is, barely 50, 60 feet away.
How did it not hear us?
Maybe there's some sort of time manipulation on the shed.
I'm going to detect magic on the shed.
Oh, okay.
That means I have to roll something.
I mean,
I don't have to. Don't make me do it.
I can just make up an answer.
I didn't. Nope.
Are you sure you don't want him to just make up an answer?
What did you roll?
I rolled 2d6 and I got a 4.
Okay, there's no nope in PBTA. That's
No,
a 6
I
minus
noped.
result.
I noped.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. We didn't have this conversation.
Oh, we did, though.
Yeah, well, we did.
So was that a spell that you were doing?
That was a spell, as a matter of fact.
And does it mention anything specific on a 6 minus?
It does not.
Oh, good. That means I can do whatever I want.
I can do what I want.
This is fun. We're having fun.
Rob,
Yeah.
you are perceiving your friends, the cabin, the light outside, everything around you has stopped, and you are looking at just a sort of frozen tableau.
I'm gonna walk outside.
Okay, so all of you see Ventuz walk outside.
What?
Dude, don't.
Wait, don't. Like, I try and catch him before he gets out the door.
Is there any of that happening for
Let's
us?
I don't know. This really would have caught you off guard. So
Not me though, because I have shoot first. You're never caught by surprise.
okay, fair enough. I'm open to a dexterity roll, but it is going to be with disadvantage.
Okay.
This is just like
Shoot a non-lethal round into his foot.
a custom.
I love that.
Oh.
It's like, you're caught by surprise. Nope.
No, that's
I'm
great.
not.
That's the rogue's job.
I love
Right?
it.
How do I? It's 3d6. Nope.
Yeah.
That's not.
Oh,
How did I?
on the
Oh,
website
yes.
it's hashtag
Yeah.
hashtag
Repeat.
3d6.
Or,
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't see. Oh, it will show me.
Click the
5
eye.
foot. Okay, 8 plus 2 is 10.
Okay. So wait, how do you have 8 plus 2?
Because I rolled a 5, and a 3, and then I have
and you
a
have-
16.
Okay. I was
Dexterity.
like, wait, what? I missed a step.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm
That's
just
fine.
so good at this. Is really what
Yeah.
he's asking himself right now.
Rob, you go to leave the cabin, or that's an exalted term for what you're in right now. And there's some sort of like field preventing you from leaving the confines of this building.
Then I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna feel where the confine goes, like
Okay.
where the force field is. I'm in a box.
Yes.
You can't see the box.
Yeah. So,
But
Nyx,
I'm in the box.
Ventus starts kind of putting hands up to the walls and looks like he's just gonna make his way around the room, feeling the walls.
I walk up behind him and try and put my hand on top of one of his hands.
He's very big.
Oh,
I'm just trying to
maybe
think.
on one of his feet, knees.
No, I mean, you could reach a hand. I just think like he has a lot of inertia when he goes to move, and I think it would be hard for you to stop him outright just by physically holding his hand. Is that what you wanted to do? Was stop him?
No, I wanted to alert him to my presence by touching him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Ventus, it feels like as you're exploring the walls here, you're in this sort of syrupy, slow time experience. And so just want to check in real quick with Zay and Alaebas and your reactions to what's happening here.
Is real weird. Very, very weird.
I don't disagree.
Can I
Alaebas
try
is
to
looking.
discern? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can I try to discern realities?
Uh huh.
Really closely study what the hell is going on right now?
Yep.
Cool. So,
You don't have like the detect magic spell though, right?
well, no, because like the arcane duelist doesn't have
Okay.
regular spells like that. They're all it's all tied to hitting stuff with my
Sure.
pointy
Ancillary effects.
implement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure you weren't using like a magical ability of some kind.
No, just regular looking real hard.
Uh-huh.
It didn't work.
Well, it did something. What did you
Join the
get?
club.
2.
You got XP. That's what you got. Rob, did you remember
Yeah.
your XP?
No, I didn't, but I did now.
Okay.
So, suck it,
In
Trebek.
fact, so my wisdom score is 13, so it's a 3.
Oh, well, in that case.
It makes all the difference, I know.
Pooja, I would like you to ask one of these questions, understanding that I'm going to give you bad news based on that question.
Ooh, I like bad news. I mean, no, I was
Yeah,
That
don't
was it.
don't put that juju out there.
What is about to happen?
Nothing. No, it's fine. It's just Ventus is having a moment, and nothing's about to happen.
Cool. Cool.
That's a lie that your senses just told you.
I mean, it's obvious that it's fine. I mean, like, he is figuring something out. It's probably something magical that he's trying to sense from the tin-roofed shack right here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it has something to do with, like, how time is working. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Maybe we'll find something more out.
I want to rewind just a moment. Did anybody have wounds left over after the fight?
No.
I did, I think. I think I did.
Do you know?
You didn't take any of the
Was my hit
mushroom
point
lichen
says
stuff?
8.
Well, yeah, that's.
I
I was
have-
just going to ask if anyone was taking using the lichen to heal up, or some other method, or what was up.
I feel that Alaebas wouldn't have thought that he had enough downtime yet because we kind of got here, did an investigation. Now this mantage showed up.
Well, I mean, there has been time. It's not really a hectic span of time that you're in right now. It's you had this big exciting fight and a giant nature elemental, and then that all fell apart, and then you all sort of caught your breath, gathered your wits and your gear, and hiked off the rest of the 100 yards or so through the forest. There was plenty of time to have made a decision like that if you want to. It's up to you.
Was anybody still hurt other than me?
I was hurt and you healed me, but you had more points of healing than I needed. So I think you spread them to Zay.
Yep. You spread your other 2 points to topping me off.
And then I thought you had healed yourself.
Because I have 4 erased and then it went to 8 and my max is 11. So I'm assuming I'm at 8.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay.
Do you want to have used the lichen? Because there's plenty of time and ability to have done that before now.
Sure.
Okay. So you had some of the lichen. Can you roll a d6 for me?
More lichen bread. Nobody? 3.
Okay, you heal 3 hit points, which is great because that's how much you were down.
Yep.
Hooray!
Okay, that's good to know. And
Does anybody else think of Underworld when you hear the word lichen? No, just me? Okay.
no, I remember that.
Well, I will now.
All right, Ventus. As you are making your way along the wall, you get to one of the windows, and there's just this very strange kind of experience happening. And you look out the window to sort of figure out what's happening at exactly the same time that the phase mantid comes in, like swings into view and is peering into the window. What would be your, and it's like surprised you. What would be your reaction? It is moving, right? It's not frozen in time like your friends are.
I would jump back.
Okay. Would you make a noise?
I would jump back away from the window. I mean, reflexively, I think I would.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's like you turn the corner in your house not expecting anything, and like the other person in your house is turning the same corner. You get the, oh, what the fuck, right? But it's not like a scream or a yell
Okay.
or anything like that. It's
I was
just like,
wondering if it was on par with something like that.
yeah.
Is it like it's like a toot then?
Yes, I toot from my trunk.
Mm-hmm. That was my trunk. That was my trunk.
It was my trunk. It's always my trunk.
That was my trunk.
I've
Inadvertent.
been with him long enough. It's his trunk.
We would know. We would definitely know.
100%. 100%.
All right. So everybody, you see Ventuz jump back from the window. At the same time, you see this mantid through the window, and the mantid opens its mandibles and makes this sort of hissing sound that was it Nyx who turned into a mantid for a little while?
It was me, yes.
Yes. And so, Nyx, you have some residual ability. Like, you understand they're actually communicating on a higher frequency than most normal ears can hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can hear a little bit of that, and it's creating this sort of like vibrating high-pitched noise. Most of you can't hear that. But you all see Ventuz jump back from the window. And Ventuz, when you look around, it's like when... like if somebody's lagged in a video call and they're stuck here and then suddenly they're over here and they're continuing, that's what happens. All the people where they were in the room are now to where they are now and are in real time with you.
So everything is now caught up.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna point and say Mantid. But what I want to do, Jason, is I have an advanced move called Eyes and Ears of the Runekeeper. You can read all writing and comprehend all spoken language.
Okay.
Is the Mantid speaking?
I mean, I guess it depends on if you consider like a wolf howl a spoken language.
100%.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Do you?
I mean, you can. Do you have to like roll something to cast the spell, or does it just work?
No, it just says advanced moves. Like
Okay.
it's just a move.
And can you? Sorry, I missed how you originally read the question or the move.
It's you can read all writing and comprehend all spoken language.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's fine. That's just a thing you can do. You know that this thing is even below sort of a primitive, pre-lingual, Neanderthal, right? It is animal communication, but at its very basic level, it's calling for help, or someone, right? It's like, hey, over here, look up here. Hey, you guys. So
Look over here.
Yeah. That's what it's communicating, but you also have a very clear understanding that it is not linguistic, right? Like this is not an intelligent person.
Yeah. So it's a strictly one-way communication model.
Yeah. Well, it's just a very clever animal.
I say it's calling for reinforcements. I don't want to keep killing these things. I feel kind of bad doing that. Does anybody have any ideas?
Well, Nyx was doing a pretty good job last time of getting them to back off a little.
They were right about to kill me though.
Yeah,
and
but that was two of them, and they already had a kill that they were protecting. They were being territorial, correct?
Yeah, they were being territorial. This one is trying to hunt though. I don't know. I think a distraction might be good. I could try and mantis it up and see if I can get them to go follow me somewhere, but I don't know where I'm going. And I don't know what I'm going to do when I get there.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, hey, what if we both change?
Yeah.
I've seen you turn into one. I know how it's done. And we already claimed this area. Get out of our territory.
Worth a shot. Worst comes to worst, we just change back or kill him again.
I can make a sound maybe magically to have them go farther away.
Oh, can you? Can you hear? Did you hear what he just did?
Kind of. I more got the sense that they were just calling for other, like they were calling for backup.
But you could hear it, so you could reproduce it.
I can try. I can try anything.
Maybe we should try that first. See if we can pull them off.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, we'll mantis it up.
Sounds good to me. Jason, I would like to cast Minor Illusion.
Okay.
Which is an illusory sound or a small image that lasts less than a minute. Particularly alert or intelligent creatures can see through the illusion if they pay careful attention, but we've already established these are not particularly intelligent. So I'm going to roll 2d6. I got a 10, and I'm going to add my charisma to cast, which is on my other sheet, which is a +3. So I got a 13.
Oh, that's a crit. So you wanted to... What sort of message were you trying to emulate?
I'm doing the same come over here message, but way out, like farther away.
Oh, and in the opposite direction.
Yeah, not necessarily the opposite direction that it came from, because that would probably be back towards other ones. But like on the other side, way far away.
Okay.
And I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, that. And then Nix and Zay, are you two shape changing?
Yeah, I'll get ready to shapeshift.
Okay.
Yes, I shall shift the shapes.
Okay. Yep. So the two of you take on the very strange two-legged form of a mantid. But
and when we're done, I try and do like a posture of like two girls looking at each other like, oh, I love your dress, oh thanks, I love it,
Yeah.
So try to mime that conversation with Zay.
Yeah, it's this horrible like grating clicking noise coming out of your throat. Okay, so the two of you change, and you hear the sound, and in this form, you can feel a little bit of just the animalistic instinct of what this sound effect is supposed to do, which is to, say, hey, we're in trouble, and you'll probably eat if you come over here. And so that message is sent up, and the mantid that you saw through the window disappears. But you two are in mantid form and could go outside if you want. It's up to you.
Great idea.
Yeah, I go see where he's gonna get. Well, no, I don't know.
Alaebas, what are you up to?
I guess he would be watching where the mantid went. And just kind of like...
You'd have to go outside to track its progress, because it's left the view of the window and...
Yeah, I mean, up until that point, like, I feel like he wouldn't go out there yet, because that would kind of like screw the pooch on their plan. So right now he's just kind of like, this is more like their realm of expertise of trying to get this situation moving forward. So he's just kind of like, just waiting to see how he can react to what happens.
Okay. So you two head outside?
Yep.
And Ventuz, what are you up to?
I'm inside, still trying to figure out why everything slowed down. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, am I still in some weird temporal shift because of the elemental? And so, like, I want to take a moment of self-reflection to figure out, is this time warp something I can harness to control? Is it a curse? Is it a blessing?
I'm gonna like double down on the hard move that I had to make earlier, and say that you understand this place. Like, this building gives you some ability to manipulate your experience of time, and that you're this close to understanding how to do it on purpose.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into reflection mode.
Okay. Okay, I like that. I'm going to have you roll charisma, please.
Nine.
Okay, hold on to that for a minute.
I will.
Mantid friends.
Click.
Friend Mantid.
Click.
The two of you head outside and move through the woods a little ways.
Mantid is magic.
You can see you're pretty sure that was the Mantid that was looking in the window, is dashing through the woods and occasionally like blinking in and out of view, and then pretty quickly you can't see it anymore because it's moving very fast. But you see it's going north. So this part of the coast goes mostly north-south, and you're still way up on a cliff for the most part. But it's going north through the woods, parallel to the cliff and the train track that it sits on the cliff. And you all kind of came from southwest part of the woods to get up to here. So, what do you want to do? And I will say the two of you can communicate to each other fairly eloquently at this point, but no one else is going to be able to understand you because you can't make mouth words.
I just kind of look over at Zay and say, follow? That's what I thought. Agree.
Maybe let's check and see it doesn't have a buddy.
Okay. So you want to maybe do a perimeter search?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take the north side. You take the south side.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, let's do a fun thing. Let's have both of you roll a d6, and that will be a shared discern realities roll.
Oh, you're just mean.
Yeah.
What is that? Like wisdom, intelligence? Do we get any kind of...
Well, I'm going to average your wisdom scores. So,
Okay.
What's your wisdom bonus, Claire?
+1.
And Pooja?
+1.
Okay, so you have a +1 collectively.
And
so
I rolled a 5.
we've got a 5 and
And a 6.
okay, a 12 is a critical success.
Yay!
Together, you cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, the changeling twins.
Yeah, this is great. The two of you circle around, and you become aware of this other presence, and are so circumspect about it. You're able to, you're also taller as the mantids, right? They're like almost 10 feet tall.
Right.
You can look over the maintenance shed and see each other.
Nice.
And you can see each other. Like, am I sensing this thing? Yes, you are too. Okay, yeah, you're getting this back and forth, and without giving away that it's there, the two of you know that there is a mantid up in the trees above the maintenance shed.
Okay.
And you have like the clear understanding that this thing is up there and watching you, but you have not given away that knowledge to it. Like, it doesn't know that you know that it knows. So, checking back in the maintenance shed.
Do I still have line of sight on them?
Yeah, because you could see them moving around opposite sides of the shed. Isn't that what you two said? You were going to go around separately like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see them moving, just like, as there are several windows on each side of the shed, and they're right near the shed. You could see them passing by. I want to get back to Rob's 9. That was your charisma check, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So we've talked about this a little bit before, but for those who might be new, how would you describe your benefactor relationship that you have made a pact with?
It's definitely something that I hadn't ever come across before, and I think that it promised to show me knowledge because that's kind of my main quest. Is I want to find out what else is out there, like what else is going on.
So it could show you the world.
Shining, shimmering, splendid. Those were my 3 requests.
Okay.
I was just about to type that in the
Tell
chat,
me.
but then I was like, no, I have restraint.
I mean, just tell me, Warlock, when did you last let the old ones decide?
Well, I think it's going to be now. I think that's what it's going to... If it reaches out my hand and asks if I trust it, my answer is going to be yes. So...
All right. So the
I don't like any
It's
of
been
this, by
real,
the way.
y'all. I gotta go.
Yeah, I am proud and sad that we were both all involved in this.
Yeah.
I only have pride. Only pride.
Holy crap.
Oh.
No. It's Wrath this year.
I should say too for our live listeners in the chat, we're only going 2 hours tonight, so we're gonna be out at 6. So hang with us if you're wondering. We're sort of speed round tonight, so just be aware.
The exact same amount of stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Jason just has to put a kibosh on how many asides we have.
Yeah, just don't blink or you'll miss it. The presence that is always in the back of your mind comes to the forefront and is it takes on a personification that you're the only one who can see this, right? It's 'cause you said it was something about the thing was about the star, or did I make that up? I can't remember.
No. Yeah, it was very much like the constellations and how they come together, and that's when it talks to me. Like it
Right,
talks to me
through
at
the
night.
stars. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this thing is present in the room with you, and basically looks like the vast dark night sky and a star field in anthropomorphic shape. All right. So just
This is new.
blackness and pinprick starlight walking around this room, and it's looking around and saying, this would make an excellent lair. This should be yours.
I was thinking the same thing, although I don't know if I'd use the word layer, because that has some intonation that I don't know if I'm comfortable with. But taking over this area and figuring out the power behind it, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, this is fated for you. This is yours. Yes.
It is. I don't think anybody owns it, so I think it's mine now. I mean, I'll have to talk to everybody else and make sure they're cool with it, but this would be a good base of operations.
I think you'll find this place has always been yours.
Okay. Okay. It is mine. It is mine. It is mine.
And it vanishes. Just in time for the open door to this cabin or shed or whatever you want to call it. You look outside and see it's the door your manted friends just left through. You can see outside the approach of a lavender-colored dove, and that is the shape that Stiv's message spell takes, and that was the sort of thing that was waiting for you when you came out of the mushroom cave. So the lavender dove approaches the doorway of the cabin. You can see that it sees you. Oh, good. This is where I'm supposed to go. Goes and is flapping, and as it flies into the entrance of the doorway, it just freeze frames, held in place as it's crossing the threshold into the cabin. And Alaebas, you're there for this too. You can see the messenger dove freeze in place in midair.
Was there a shift at all when that entity was there, like a cold wind or anything like that?
I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think there would have been a manifestation of that.
Okay. So he'll just kind of stare at the dove,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like stuck in some sort of like invisible thing.
Yeah. It's just like freeze frame.
He'll try to reach and grab it.
Okay. It yeah, you can take it out of place, but it is stuck mid wing beat and is staring straight ahead. It's like a statue of a bird.
Looks to Ventuz. That's pretty weird, right?
Let me try something. And I reach out and I touch the bird, like as if Sistine Chapel like.
Roll charisma for me, Rob.
I keep reaching for my dice, and it's weird to not have them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
11.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. It's not a crit, but you are able to, like the spell is confused because it's like it has dual purpose of like convey a message, and I'm gonna pretend to be a bird to deliver that message, and the spell is just like, oh, I don't have to be a bird anymore. Okay, and it just the bird sort of dissolves and is absorbed into your touch, into your hand. Your hand glows kind of lavender for a moment, and then you hear Stiv's voice in your mind of just a basic check-in, right? She's saying like, is everything going okay? It's been a few hours. We haven't heard from you. Do you need anything? Are you doing well?
I look at Alaebas and I said it's from Stiv. They're checking in on us again. I do not have the ability to send message. Do you?
I do not. Unless I can get an actual bird. And then if they could speak to the bird, then yeah.
I mean, you could tie a message to a bird.
That too.
We
But
should.
we need to...
Yeah, we should contact them at some point.
Okay, so going back to our manted friends outside, are you? How are you reacting to the fact that there's one above the building? It's about like 20, 25 feet up in the trees.
I am trying to, subtly watch it. Subtly watch it while I continue kind of looking around to see if there's any more.
It seems like there's just the one.
And I look over to Zay to see what they are doing.
I am gonna puff up like the exoskeleton creature that I am.
And you're gonna threaten the one in the trees?
I'm not gonna overtly be like, I'm not gonna make this up text,
Okay.
but I'm gonna make myself bigger and more threatening.
Okay,
When
but
I
you're
see
not.
them doing
Intimidate
that,
it?
I'm gonna do the same.
But you're not acknowledging its presence
Directly, no.
Okay, you're just strutting.
Yes.
Like I guess I'm a
I'm
chicken
gonna do
now.
I'm gonna do my rooster,
Yeah,
except as a mantis.
yeah. Cock of the walk. So let's have you roll. Actually, I'm gonna have you roll plus strength.
Oh.
Did you say no or oh?
Either one of those would be getting like a lot of experience.
Okay.
It works out great.
What was the total?
3?
Yeah, that's not very much. So you have taken on what you're pretty sure is the most challenging chicken dance, and are going to be the winner of this contest. And don't even bother looking at this thing because you don't want to acknowledge its presence. Now I do need Nyx to go ahead and roll wisdom for me, please.
Okay. That'll be a 9.
Okay, so here's a choice. You could notice something about Zay, or you can notice something about the creature in the tree.
I'm going to notice something about Zay.
Okay. You have a pretty clear understanding that Zay is not doing the chicken dance correctly. That this is out of sync. Like something about what they're doing it's not right. Yeah, they're like shaking before flapping. It's yeah. And that has caught your attention. Is like, what? No, that's not right. Don't do that.
So what I'm going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to go over to them and start doing it with them, but doing it correctly.
Oh. Sort of a passive aggressive actually.
Yes.
Okay, why don't you roll strength, please?
Oh no. That's just the worst.
Threat display, I think, needs strength.
7.
But a fake strength display could use anything else.
Yeah, can I use my charisma to fake that I'm strong?
No, this thing isn't interested in your trickery. It's interested in how strong are you. What, that was a 7?
Yes, because I rolled an 8, but I have an 8 strength, so I get a -1.
But total of 7.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's still a success. It's as good as a 9.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you another hard choice. Either you can get get Zay to do this correctly, and you have adequately communicated to Zay, like, oh, here, this is what you're supposed to do instead. Or you can directly intimidate the phase manted hiding in the branches. And put air quotes around hiding, because it's, it's there.
Just waiting. At this point,
I am more interested in correctly intimidate.
Oh, I think we lost you, Claire.
Never ever see again.
We lost a chunk of what you said there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm more interested in intimidating the manted than acting Zay.
Okay. So then I just need to know what Zay's reaction is to this silent actually show. How are you responding to this? They're telling you you're doing it wrong. You know that's what's being communicated is you're doing it wrong. Do it like this.
I am gonna. It's like, you know what? Fine then. If you do it so right, you do it, and I'm going to be like, fine.
This is such strange body language for the one watching you. It's like, what is wrong with these creatures? Okay, so
if you know it so well, why don't you do it?
Okay. The two of you are aware that the manted in the branches is backing away and will pretty quickly be out of sight when it is moving away from this spot.
Okay, well, I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay. Now, your manted biology is hardwired to respond to this dance. And Pooja, because Zay was not the winner of the dance.
I mean, we can say it. Zay lost the dance off.
Yeah. I'm gonna like Zay is certainly aware of their mind and they're a fully sapient conscious person, but you also can feel the impulse to sort of yield to the greater mantid in your presence. I'll let you can role play that whatever that means to you. Like that's fine. You don't have to do anything, but that is a thing you're experiencing. Is like, like the physical reaction of that, right?
This could work out. Like, I'm gonna physically do the hunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fine. You are the better dancer. I cede. You win the dance off. This time. Next time it'll go to me.
I'm continuing to do it because I know the thingy, the other one is probably still aware of what's happening in our little clearing.
Mm.
But rather than doing it at Zay, I'm now doing it like, I own all of this, bitch. This is all me. I'm so cool. Because I recognize what's happening to Zay and I don't want to keep triggering them.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of just go around to the other side of the building so Zay doesn't have to keep watching what you're doing. And
Yes.
And that also happens to be the direction that first mantid left in. So if you were needing to intimidate anyone, they would probably be in that direction if they're, if that mantid went to get someone and come back. But yeah, that's fine. We're going to have that continue for a little bit. Let's check in on the boys in the building. What's going on with you two?
Can we tell that they're looking up at something?
No, because they were pointedly not acknowledging it to each other. Like they were trying to not let it know that they knew that it was there.
I'm going to focus on trying to see how far I can extend the temporal powers of the shed and the shed's connection to me to see if I can affect the landscape around me. And like how far out can I affect the train? Is this going to be a battle of temporal wills with the elemental? Like how can I go? Like basically
Tool shed
somebody
time
gave
machine.
somebody gave me a hot tub
Somebody
time
had to say it.
That's right. Does anybody have any Chernobyl? You've given me there's a shiny been placed in front of my hand, and I am now blocking off the rest of the world. I feel like I did my due diligence, and I gave Alaebas the information that someone was trying to contact us, and now my soul is completely unburdened, and I'm gonna go back to focusing on my own shit.
Okay. Do you have any particular moves or spells that you would want to use to try to understand this place better, or should we do more like a custom move thing?
Well, I know you don't like extreme freedom, and you prefer working out of a modulated campaign. So I'm going to make you uncomfortable and say we're going to make it up, Jason.
No one has ever said that about me. All right, so it is. I think it's appropriate to make an intelligence roll at this point, because there is sort of an academic understanding component to this. So let's make an int roll, please.
$12 is a +0, right?
Yes, 9 to 12 is +0. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to mark an experience.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you're gonna what is it? Are you sitting down in the middle of the room? Are you meditating? Are you inspecting things? What is your physical activity?
Yeah, I think it is meditating, kind of like the way that I've seen Alaebas do it, and just sort of that peaceful, trying to connect with nature and And really, because our group does the same thing like every night, every evening we've got that repose where we just kind of like chill for a second. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it like imagining me becoming one with the boards and the nails and the structure of the structure.
That's so funny that you said that because of what popped in my mind 2 minutes ago when you rolled a 6-. So you were going to sit down, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you sit down and allow your consciousness to sort of melt, and this is your experience. Your consciousness melts out of your body and merges with the building itself, and you find yourself in a sort of top-down isometric, Diablo 3 view of the top of the building, and everything's frozen again, but just through like a minor flex of like a muscle you didn't realize you have, you can push it's like a video scrub, right? You can push the view forward or back, and you scoot it back a little bit and you could see your group walking up to the shed.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to try to push it forward 3 minutes.
As it goes forward, it stops at your current point of view. It's
Alaebas just hears
it's like the end of the scroll.
like a grumble, like a low seated like.
Yeah, but every once in a while you can it like extends it like the next part downloads it and you can.
Yeah, but it's not buffering to beyond now. It's just buffering to now.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna try to keep. Like, if it's not buffering fast enough, like you still try to push it farther than it does.
Uh-huh.
On YouTube videos, we've all done it.
So your goal right now is to try and see the future, right?
Yeah, my goal right now is to try to see the future.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to you. Alaebas, did you want to do something about getting in touch with Stiv?
Yeah, he was going to try to communicate with a bird inside the shed and see if that worked, even though he doesn't think it will.
Oh, the bird dissolved.
No, but just like a bird in the forest.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you don't want to go outside?
He's not sure what the matted portion of his party
that's
is
fine.
doing.
I just want to make sure I understand that you want to stay inside the shed and try to communicate to a bird that is outside the shed.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. You can stand in the doorway of the shed and look up and see, yeah, there's a bunch of, sparrows circling around, doing some sort of aerial acrobatics game.
All right. Because the only spell that he had in the prior system was speak with animals.
Yeah.
That would help with that?
Yeah, well, let's roll wisdom for that.
Ooh. I would think that the mantid probably eats it because I rolled a 4.
Plus your wisdom.
Would be a 4. I rolled a 3.
Doing great today. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we're having just a day,
These
aren't
physical
we?
dice is just as terrible as the computer dice.
And really, I thought the ooh were good oohs.
Yeah. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to take a different kind of hard move by announcing off-screen badness. But first, the like half a dozen sparrows come and land on a rock that's just outside the door, and they just go and they're looking up at you like, yes. You are having a conversation with these sparrows.
I'm looking to get a message to some friends that are outside of the forest.
Okay, do you know where they are?
Do we know where they are? I guess
yeah,
they're at the...
Yeah, they're waiting in... They were supposed to be waiting in the sort of piazza of the town, down across the fjord. And Actually, if you walked out to the cliff, you could probably see the town. Well, you could definitely see down into the town from here.
Okay.
It's just, a couple miles away.
He says, where the rest of the beings are that walk on the 2 feet
Yes.
in the buildings are there.
Okay. Well, if you
And then he describes them.
Yeah, and they're fine with like taking an image from your mind if you can remember. Oh yeah, they said they would kind of hang out at this restaurant, and that's how you could get in touch. And yeah, they can take on that much information. And you don't remember if they said anything about being able to talk to animals. I don't think that has come up, whether they can or can't.
I don't think it has.
Only one way to find out.
Would he have some sort of paper or something to be able to?
I'm fine with that. That's only you can answer that.
All right, then he writes his little letter.
Okay. Yeah.
And then wraps it around the bird's leg.
Jot a little note.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your like sentence of a note?
We're fine. Everything is fine. We're at the shack, working on coming up with a plan.
Okay. And the sparrows take the note. They're going to take turns carrying it because it's pretty heavy for them. There's, sparrows are little. And the half dozen of them take off in a flutter, and you see them. They go up. They kind of circle around, and then there they go. They like they sort of hone in on where they're supposed to go, and just fly across the head out into the blue yonder.
Alaebas tries to find where they're at in dealing with these mantids.
What are you doing?
No, he's just trying to get line of sight back on Zay and Nyx.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, you could generally see them from one of the windows in the building. If you don't want to go out there, you can find a window and see. I guess you probably, since you've lost track of them, you probably aren't sure which mantid is which. Because I don't think you two have any real like identifying marks.
Wouldn't Zay still have their dragon mark?
Oh yeah, actually, yep. There's no getting rid of that. So yes,
Nope.
You can see Nyx out the like backside of the cabin, directly opposite of where the door is. The door looks out on the cliff side of the cabin, and you could see. I'm sorry, did I say Nyx before? Nyx is on the opposite side of the building. Like right near the cabin, it's not a cabin, that's exaggeration, but is doing some sort of elaborate interpretive dance of some kind that is just mystifying. Why would they be doing that?
So, Alaebas, that's what you can see.
Okay. I mean, he's just kind of waiting for like a go signal or what.
Okay.
It's supposed to happen because it just seems like the situation's under control.
I'm gonna say once I can't sense the tree mantis anymore, I'm just gonna shift back.
Okay. Yep. It definitely seems like it's gone. And you shift back to yourself. Probably, go get dressed, do whatever it is you would do. And you find Ventuz plopped on the floor in the middle of the room. Alaebas is puzzled looking out at Nyx doing the mantid dance. And the mantid dance.
I'm doing the dance of joy. Melfar, do the dance of joy.
And so Yeah, that's where we are.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. When I realize that I'm playing to an empty room, I go back inside.
So what happened as Zay comes back into the shed?
Oh, there was another one. We had a dance off.
Oh.
Nyx won.
Oh.
Only because I've been a mantis one more times than you have.
They're still rubbing it in over there. But we're fine now. The other ones are gone.
We got a message from Gwar and Steve, and I was able to get a message back to them. Just let them know that we were at the shed and everything was fine.
Awesome.
And Ventuz has been making weird sounds again.
I mean, yeah, is it fine?
And we're as fine as can be.
I mean, there's nothing they can do, I suppose. Ventus?
I shake my head.
Yeah, Ventuz is not present for comment at the moment.
Ventuz isn't here now, man.
I forgot to do the off-screen badness that I was going to announce with that hard move. The audience sees, so none of you in character know this, but the audience sees Stiv and Gwar running down the street, making a hard right down an alleyway, and about a dozen people from the town chasing them. And we just see them duck down into it's not that dark an alleyway because it's 2 p.m, but they
nocturne alleyway.
Yeah, they dart down there. 10 or 12 people go running after them, and it's not a dead end alleyway. We just see them make another turn, and then the scene cuts back to you all.
Just a note to self. I'm gonna message tomorrow when we do our little reset. That'd be good.
Yeah, the message got to the doorway and just sat there like it was suspended in time. And Ventuz has pretty much been out of it since then.
Awesome.
Rob, I need you to roll. Hold on, let me tell you what you're rolling first. It's oh, that's right. We have to go back to the int roll. Try that again.
This was a success with consequence.
Okay.
I got a 7.
Okay. So you have the ability to push the timeline forward that you're viewing. But it will cost you hit points.
Oh yeah, I'm breaking on through to the other side.
Okay.
No doors can stop me.
So understanding that you're
Really? Oh, I'm so mad at you right now.
I just jimmied that right open.
That's good. All right. So the interface to understanding this room is you're starting to get a feel for how this works. And when you scrub your perception forward from your present time, you can feel the barrier that you're pushing through as it, squeezes your mind and is trying to push you back to your current time. And as you've been experimenting with this, looking backwards has been zero effort at all. But I know you've been focused on trying to move forward, but just as you're sort of scooting it a little bit, trying to move it back and then get it to buffer more, now you're able to make this great effort. So I'm going to have you roll a d4, Rob, Do you have a 4-sided die there?
Yeah, I do. Give me a sec. All right, I got it. What do I do with it?
Roll it.
Oh, I got a 2.
Okay, you're going to take 2 HP of damage.
Oh, that hurt.
And that would be on par. Well, for like a human, that would be like a bloody nose or maybe blood out the ear.
It's more than 1/3 of my hit points.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a little bit more than blood out the.
Yeah. So you're not super aware of your body right now, but everyone else is. What do they see happen to your body?
Oh, what would happen to an elephant?
Your perception is up above the building. You don't really know what's going on inside the building right now.
I mean, I don't feel like I've ever known what's going on inside of the building.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? Like, how would an elephant exhibit internal trauma?
Problems with their trunk or their ears?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
You do have big flappy ears, right?
I do have the big flappy ears.
Yeah.
I do feel like, oh, actually, that's pretty good. So since they're bigger and down, it's not the traditional like humans. You just see like blood coming out of the ear holes, but here what you see is just on the very tips at the bottom, just droplets of blood start going down and hitting the floor because they're following the curve of the ear.
Can we also say that we're seeing the veining of your ears sort of light up like in a leaf? You know how you can see the veins in a leaf because your ears are thin but big. I think we see a lot of that.
Proportioned.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Okay.
But so you all see the like veining of the ears spread and become much more pronounced and obvious, and blood is dripping down the length of the ears onto his shoulders and some on the floor around him. But
is he? What position are you? Prone? Are you?
I am seated,
Shavasana?
cross-legged.
Cross-legged. Okay.
Okay. Crisscross applesauce.
Yep.
I don't remember if. Do we know if thieves have first? Well, there's a healer, but
I don't know if I get like a life sense from him. Like, do I feel like his being is so strong, or like he's fully there and just took some damage, or does he feel like?
Let's have you roll wisdom, Alaebas.
Oh, these dice rolls. That would be a 9.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. I thought there was a roll for this in the moves, but I don't see it now. But that's fine. Yeah, you have a sense that he's injured, but you're not sure if it's getting worse. Is it over? Is this still happening? But you're very aware that he is like physically injured to a significant degree.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use my cleric spell.
Okay.
Of cure light wounds, and it's a wisdom check. Raise these dice. That is a 10.
Very good.
And it says that if I roll a 10 plus, the spell successfully cast on your deity does not revoke the spell, so you may cast it again. And then I heal 1d8, but since I have the Hospitaler bonus, then I roll 2d8 when healing an ally.
Oh, yeah, okay, so that's all of it.
So I rolled 9.
Yeah.
2d8's a lot.
Yeah.
How many hit points does everybody else have?
Well, none of you are the heavy hitter classes except for the Paladin.
I have 9 hit points.
Yeah.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
And like the fighter and the barbarian get, I don't know, like 12 to 16, something like that. Like it's there's a big range.
Dude, that's a big spell.
Yeah.
Level 1.
Yep.
Cleric.
Good job.
But like he said, if he doesn't roll a 10 plus, he might not be able to use it the rest of the day. So,
Yeah.
okay, so you restore the health of Ventuz, and Ventuz, you are yanked out of the perception, right? You are yanked back into your body. You were just seeing the approach of a train tomorrow. As you were scrubbing forward, you were seeing, you're trying to keep pushing it forward, keep forward, and there was a train approaching from the north going south. The one that passed earlier was, oh no, sorry, it'd be the other way. Earlier today, you saw north to south going back to the City of Towers, and tomorrow you are seeing the train coming the other way, and it looked like some people were hiding in the trees.
Did those people look like us?
It's hard to tell because your vision was blurry when you were doing it, because you were, it's like your eyes were watering and it was really hard to see. But you could see.
Was one of them a 10-foot tall elf?
Yeah, I mean, elephant, yo.
It was the lighting.
Was there a tracking bar? Like, could I see what times? Like a
You
timestamp?
could tell from the daylight. It was, mid-morning, 10 a.m.
Okay,
Ish.
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I'm not actually talking about numerics on the bottom. I was just like,
Yeah.
could I tell?
Yeah.
Okay, or at least get a sense of, like
Yeah.
a mystical sense of.
Yeah, it's definitely mid-morning because you could tell where the sun was. Not precisely 10 o'clock, set your watch by it, but yeah.
I shake out of it, take a deep breath, and I look around, and I've seen the future.
What did you see?
I saw the train coming, and I saw an ambush being prepared from the trees. Now, this is the first time I've seen the future, so pardon me, things are fuzzy. I couldn't tell who the ambushers were. I don't know if
Shouldn't
it was
be
us or not.
Amtreaters?
Amtreaters, that's fine. The
There are
deciduous ones.
There you go. That's much more elegant.
It's all encompassing, yeah. I couldn't tell if it was us or not. I couldn't get that sense, but this place, I can see the future when I'm here.
Yeah, you almost died doing that.
Yeah, that does hurt you.
Yeah, you could see the blood around you and on your shoulders, and
Maybe only do that like when we really, really need it.
I just need to practice more to get used to it.
I don't,
Rob, you hear that the voice of the stars in the back of your mind are like, it is yours to control.
And I mimic it exactly as it says it, so it's not quite my normal intonation.
Get a little bit of that reverb.
Yeah.
Do we out of character, do we know about his mentor person?
I don't think it's come up in a literal sense. I don't know, Rob. How do you feel about that?
I've always done it as I get my power, because I've always mimicked Alaebas, as in like how he does it and how he gets his power, but I've just said it's a different divinity.
Okay.
Because that's the way I see it.
But I mean, do we know that you have a direct communication with your?
Yeah, I mean, like that I've talked to it and it sends me message.
Mm-hmm.
It sends me messages. Yeah, I'm probably the same way that like Alaebas would say the same thing about his gods.
Yeah, I think it would be like the safest assumption based on that context is that y'all would think of Ventuz as something like a cleric, where he's obviously not a priest of a church, but having contact with a deity is not the weirdest thing you've heard of, and would be a much more normal assumption than, an old god manifestation of constellations would be a pretty wild assumption.
Okay. So then in that case, when Ventuz says that, Nix goes, "Who's talking right now, bro?"
It's me.
Huh?
This place has power. This place is something that I can harness. I just need to learn how to control it.
Pooja, can you make an int roll, please?
I shall. Oh, there we go. That's better. I got a 12.
Oh, good. What is the phrasing on your... No, you don't have detect magic, right?
Nope.
Who has detect magic?
Ventuz.
Yeah, can you read that for us?
Give me a moment. I got like 7 sheets here. Detect magic, first level, divination. One of your senses is briefly attuned to magic. The GM will tell you what here is magical.
Okay, so, Pooja, Zay has spontaneously cast detect magic, in a not on purpose way. I was going to say unwilling, but it's not really like that, because I think Zay wants information. Is that accurate?
I want the information badly enough that I managed to do a thing without meaning to do it.
Right. But you have some magical training in how things work, and and what you can see is a little bit of the sort of like wireframing, like white wireframing on the inside of this cabin, and how a lot of it is also moves across the floor, and some of these shapes are shifting. They're kind of like Tron shapes, just as these lines move across the floor and the walls. But most of them are converging and moving. When Ventuz moves around, they line up to be under his feet. And that's... you got a 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what you're also realizing is, if you're remembering correctly, the based on the time of year and where you are, and I always figure in a fantasy world people are more sort of connected to constellations and the stars and stuff because it's a thing that you can actually see at night.
But also because I saw the background where I was part of the clan of traveling merchants, so we would have used the stars for navigation and things like that.
Okay, so this is perfect for that. So you're also realizing that as these things line up, several of these lines have converged on the ceiling of the building, and these are invisible to the naked eye, but your eyes have shifted, and they are essentially converging with where the constellations are, and you're a little confused at first because you're like, oh, it's daytime. Oh, that must be where they are. I just can't see them right now because it's daytime. And so that's what you've picked up on, is that this building is somehow connected to Ventuz now. I don't think you really get an understanding of how time magic works and all that kind of stuff, but you could see that
that's the 2A level.
yeah that's your second year. But if you wanted to ask one of the discern realities questions, I'd be happy to answer that. This is sort of a custom discern reality.
Cool. I am going to ask who's really in control here.
Well, Ventuz, sort of, in the sense that he's in control of the stars, But that doesn't make sense because he obviously can't control the stars. That's crazy.
That's something real weird is happening. But at least it's happening from him as opposed to just to him.
Yeah, it does not seem like an outside force is controlling him or manipulating. Well, is controlling him.
Yeah. but like not controlling him.
Right.
So great.
He is doing what he wants to do. That's
not always going to be the best thing, but whatever, it's a thing. He's an adult elephant. He can make his own decisions.
Does that make him a nope.
As useful as someday that might be, for now we should probably get back to the city so we can plan this ambush for tomorrow. Tree for tomorrow.
so where you are.
Potted plant.
Where you are is relatively difficult to get back to in a hurry, unless I don't think any of you have like flight spells, right? That would make this a lot easier.
Maybe I could get like a million sparrows to surround us.
We did have that wand of levitate.
That's right. You do have a levitate wand, but the reason you went to that part of the cliff all the way down south is because it was low enough that you could get ropes up it. You know, it was only 60 feet high or so, whatever that was. And then the cliff gets higher at this part. And so they're really, I mean, aside from free climbing it or like trying to do your levitate and, you know, get everybody up and down, it would be trickier to come straight back to here from the town, as opposed to, again, taking the boat down, climbing up, going through the woods. And I mean, if you did that without fighting mantids twice and stopping off at the mushroom cave, it would take a lot less time, but it was a more circuitous route.
And isn't it getting...
We could use the levitate wand to get up the distance that rope couldn't help us with.
Yep.
Ropey McRopestern.
Yeah, you can levitate one person at a time with that. One like contiguous, you know. Yeah.
Isn't it getting close to nighttime?
Well, no, it's late afternoon, 4-ish.
Okay.
So kind of, yes. We should definitely head back to town. Stiv and Gore are pretty worried at this point, I would say, and we should at least like figure out a more concrete plan with them later, probably.
Oh, also, sorry, Rob, when you're like, oh, what time is it? How late is it? When you look out the door, you can see the sort of light that you expect at 4 in the afternoon. When you look around at various windows, the lighting is different. It's different in each of the 4 windows.
Ooh. I'm going to get up and look out the dawn window.
Yeah, and that's what you find. You find today's dawn. Through the course of it, you're able to investigate that the door and the front window look out onto now, and then, you know, 4 hours ago, 4 more hours ago, 4 more hours, roughly, right? It just, you can get about a day back into, you could basically see into yesterday in that last window.
So I'm going to go to the window that was going to show me...
Well, it's all backwards.
When the train went by yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so actually,
Well, no, that was earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. So what is 4 hours ago today? Or whatever it was. So yeah, so it's still today. But as I'm doing this and as I figure this out, it's very much like a Dangerous Mind kind of moment, right? And I start and I actually start writing down in front of the windows and the doors, like now, 4 hours ago, 8 hours ago, you know, and like a clock in the middle and stuff like that. And I'm trying to, if people are standing there, I'm like drawing it around them and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I want to see the train want to see the train go by.
Yeah.
See if I can see it, and to see if I can reach out to it, and to see if I can feel the power of the elemental again.
Okay. And that is the perfect time to wrap up for tonight. As you look out that window and see the train bearing down and freeze frame. Jumping freeze frame, high five.
Don't you forget about me.
Excellent.
Would you say that today Nyx had the moves like Jagger?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So thank you, everybody. That is tonight's session. Thank you for enjoying our abbreviated session, so we can all do some real life stuff that we have to do. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back in 2 weeks. That is June 21st. June 21st. And that's when we'll be back. If you want to catch up, go to happyjacks.org/city of towers or /shows for everything we've ever done, which is a lot. There's a bunch of stuff on there. And that's just everything that's on the Happy Jacks network. You can watch videos. There's YouTube. Also, there's a podcast feed. There's a couple different podcast feeds, I think, so that you can get the one-shots or the series. That's a word. And let's hear what's everybody else working on. We'll go in reverse order with. And everyone, remind me, we're going to do Stars and Wishes at the top of next game. I didn't want to burn up too much of our time tonight, but remember, or go back and watch the video before we play again. But Claire, what are you up to? Who are you? What are you doing here? How did we get in this handbasket?
How did I get in this handbasket? My name is Claire. Today I'm gonna pimp my band, the Merry Wives of Windsor. We are doing 2 things that I want to tell everybody about. We have released 2 pride pins, a typical rainbow pride pin, and then a Black Lives Matter pride pin, and all of the sales from the Black Lives Matter pride pin are being donated directly to the ACLU. And we also just launched our Patreon. So we have tiers, very cheap or less cheap if you want to support independent music, because it's impossible to make money as a working musician.
What's their website again?
Everywhere, on all the things at Merry Wives.
Okay, excellent. Eli?
You could skip my social media, but there are bigger things happening in the world right now. So just, support where you can and be kind to other people.
All right, Rob?
What Eli said.
Now I feel like an asshole for promoting myself.
That's all right. I'm going to do it too.
No, dude.
It's
do it.
different when you have a real thing to promote too, versus like,
True.
come watch me again play as something. So, yeah, I just have, if you can't go out and physically support people protesting, things like that, there are a bunch of other ways that you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I highly encourage you to. If you can, donate to bail funds, spread the word on your social medias. If you are like so many of us and got some racist relatives, strike up a conversation, because really in the end, like, a real conversation had either like text message, in person, for those of you who live with other people and know what that's like still after several months of quarantine, or like a phone call means so much more than any kind of social media post is going to. So talk to your racist peeps.
Yeah.
Call them out.
And I will just go ahead and do the thing where I say the other stuff I'm working on. You can find me at It's Probably Okay on Twitter and on Twitch. And so I'm here every other Sunday, every other Monday. On my Twitch channel, It's Probably Okay, we're doing a very chilled No Man's Sky on Fridays, and Saturday mornings we're doing Return to the Spider-Verse set in the Miles Morales Spider-Man universe. It's a lot of fun. And if you follow that channel, there is a lot of information there about different things you can support for Black Lives Matter and various charities and things that are productive there. So feel free to find me there. We're always throwing up stuff like that, different like up-to-date things that could be really helpful. So be sure to check that stuff out. We're all doing what we can, and we're all proud of you for doing your best. So thank you, everyone. And I think that is it for us tonight. So thank you again, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Take care of yourselves. Be safe.
Bye.
Late.
If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single